Hello everybody, and welcome back to The Lair. In today's video we're going to talk about the one thing I hate hearing more than anything, one of the worst pieces of dungeon mastering advice that I think has led to the decline in DMs and the burnout and destruction of many great games. That advice is, the player is always right. I've heard so many people, so many dungeon masters, so many YouTubers say that this is gospel, that in order to be a good DM, you should just do whatever your players want you to do. Whatever races, whatever classes, whatever homebrew, custom lineages, whatever Wizards of the Coast thinks makes for good content these days. I think what a lot of these people don't realise that it's exactly this mentality that is actually pushing people away from wanting to be a DM. It's damaging new dungeon masters instead of empowering them, and I believe that it causes resentment at the table. It sucks because D&D is supposed to be fun, but you get these super entitled dweeb players who think they can just boss their DMs around, and they sit in their little circles on Reddit and Facebook and just talk this load of shite. Do I think it should be the opposite, that the Dungeon Master is always right? No. There should be a healthy dynamic at the table where the Dungeon Master adjudicates and referees sessions of play, and the players are able to state their opinions openly and reasonably without any fear. I mean, the DM should be the boss. That's what I will say. But we've all seen enough horror stories, especially if you watch them on YouTube, right? Where the DM goes mad with power. I think balance is very important when it comes to a hobby like this. I think that the Dungeon Master dictates the world and the set rules of the game, and the players dictate the direction of the story. That is the agreement, and I think it's one that works very well in my games. Before we continue, if you guys have been enjoying this video so far, and others that I've done on this channel, I'd love for you to, give the video a big thumbs up, a big like, and, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We're approaching 2,500 subscribers right now, which is absolutely nuts. Brilliant. And it would be great to hit this goal this month, so if you don't mind, I'd really appreciate it. I get a lot of messages from Dungeon Masters on the channel, especially newer ones, who are afraid to try out a new system or change a rule in their games. And I think one of the main reasons for this is because they are being told by other people, potentially other YouTubers as well, that their players should be the ones deciding these things, not them. That their players will be unhappy, and that they in turn would be a bad Dungeon Master because of that. The reality is, a lot of you guys who feel this way are not bad Dungeon Masters. You have a difference of opinion, and you're playing with people who don't agree. A lot of people have lost all sense of understanding in the last 10 or so years, and are not able to respectfully disagree anymore. But it's so important in a social hobby like this that you're able to talk and understand one another, even if you don't have the same opinion or agree. You're the one who does all the prep, creates the adventures, writes the skeleton of the story, and brings the world to life. The reason I'm saying all of this is because I've been there as a Dungeon Master. I felt as if I was powerless at my table, but if I made a tough call, some of my players might challenge me aggressively and shout at me. It sucks to be in an environment like that, and despite the fact that I actually really did love that game, and I really enjoyed the story, I was happy to see it ultimately end and move on to the next story that I wanted to do with new players. And now I play with different people who respect me and appreciate the game that I'm running, and I couldn't be happier, honestly. I know this video is a bit of a hot take, but I think it's important that I share my genuine opinions on this channel for you guys to consider and talk about. You've heard what I think is awful advice, but what is the worst DM advice you've heard? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll give you an opinion on it. Make sure to join our Discord if you haven't already to keep up to date with all things Loki and Lair. And if you'd like to support the channel, feel free to become a channel member or patron. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you guys next time on Loki's Lair. Until then.